And it now is. So here we are. We're excited to spend tonight talking with our special guest from a new student program. So Alex will introduce herself here in a minute. I'm Jordan Stevenson. I'm the director of student recruitment. Excited to be with y'all tonight. And these two lovely ladies obviously showed me up, didn't tell me that they were going to dress to the nines, and I'm here in jeans looking like a fool. So that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Alex so she can take it from here.
You look great.
Thanks.
Polo's great.
Thanks.
I'm Alex Lyon. I'm the director of new student programs. So our office oversees all orientation programming. So if you are a new student, you need to sign up for a session. Hopefully you've already done that. If not, there are several that you can choose from. We probably will talk about later, later. And then also our extended orientation opportunities. So we have a couple things for new students, including First Flight and Owl Expedition. That's what we're talking about tonight. So excited to share more about our programs with you.
Yes.
Like it. Awesome. Well, my name is Jacinta Luster. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Recruitment. I specialize in dual enrollment and all other special populations. I miss saying my old title.
I know. I loved your old title.
Manager of Admissions for Special Populations.
I was going to say, do you still know what it was?
But it's all right.
You said it great.
Thank you.
You can still be that if you want.
I can still be that,
Yeah.
but I handle dual enrollment special population, so we're so thankful that you guys are here today and here for Ask Admissions. So we're going to transition. We're going to talk a little bit of news from the nest. Ooh. You haven't been here, Jordan, and that's usually how I introduce news from the nest.
Oh my gosh, you didn't tell me.
News from the nest, and I go,
Ooh,
little owls, and it explodes.
I love it.
So, news from the nest. We're so excited again for you guys to be here tonight talking about orientation, all the great opportunities that come along with being a KSU student after you have committed to KSU. So, first things first, we are approaching the end of the fall deadline. It's coming up really soon. I know it's May. I know we love singing the Justin Timberlake, it's gonna be May, but June's around the corner. And so we wanna make sure that you guys remember the deadlines. Whether you're a freshman, a transfer student, a dual enrollment student, all of us have deadlines that you need to adhere to. So the biggest one that I really want to emphasize first is dual enrollment. If you have applied to KSU for dual enrollment, you submitted your application April 1st, you have until May 13th to submit all of your documents to us. Again, dual enrollment, May 13th, document deadline. Do not wait because it's going to be fast approaching. You probably received an email from my counselor, Kelly Bislocki. Shout out to Kelly. She's been emailing all of you guys about completing your application, so please make sure you do that. Also, if you are a freshman, which we're talking about today, but we're also going to be talking about transfer students, remember your application deadline is going to be June 1st. I know, again, that sounds like, oh, that's June 1st. But we really want you guys to go ahead, apply now, get everything in to get your decision so you can sign up for orientation, sign up for housing, do all of those things. And then your document deadline is June 15th. If you're a transfer student, you got a little bit more time. You still have to go to orientation. So again, apply early, get your documents in. Your application deadline is going to be June 15th, and your document deadline is going to be June 30th, along with all of our other student types, adult learners, transient students. Everyone complete your application as soon as possible for fall 2022 so that you don't miss out on some of the great opportunities like orientation, housing, all of that. So get your applications in, complete them so that we can get onto those next steps, which are really fun and exciting to our students. Now I'm going to transition it over to Jordan.
Thanks, Jacinta.
You're welcome.
Love Jacinta starting news from the nest. That was awesome. We had one big change happen since the last time we did an Ask Admissions Live, so we want to make sure everybody's aware of this change and some of the nuances with it, and then if you have questions about it, throw it in the chat here tonight. The change is that later, mid to late March, the University System of Georgia decided to allow most of the institutions in the University System of Georgia, those that were still accepting applications, making decisions on students, which is a vast majority of us, to go test optional for incoming first-year students. And that's for freshmen, transfer freshmen, so folks that have less than 30 credit hours and have yet to graduate from high school, or somebody that just recently graduated from high school but doesn't have 30 credit hours. That's a transfer freshman. allow us to admit you to the university without test scores, so that's SAT or ACT, if you have a 3.2 or better academic GPA. So those are the 5 core subject areas from high school. That's what make up your academic GPA. We calculate your academic GPA in-house here at KSU in the admissions office. So it's not necessarily the GPA you see on your transcript. It is based on the academic GPA that we calculate within admissions. Sometimes that benefits you. We will take your highest subject area courses if you've taken more than is required to graduate from high school. But let us evaluate your transcript. We ultimately will determine where your academic GPA falls. So 3.2 or better academic GPA, and you do not need test scores. If you don't have that GPA, it's okay, but you need to at least have a 2.5 or better academic GPA and test scores that allow you to be admitted to the university. So on the SAT, that's a 490 on the math, a 500 on the evidence-based reading and writing. If you take the ACT, it's an 18 on the math with an 18 in the English or an 18 in the reading. You have to have those minimum sub-scores on both tests to be able to be considered for admission to Kennesaw State, along with at least the 2.5 academic GPA. So hopefully that helps clarify some things for folks. Anybody that applied before that news came out and you were denied admission to the university, we went back through and already have reevaluated all of those applicants. And then if you now meet standards, we've released a new acceptance letter to you. For students that are just now applying, bear with us because we're getting a lot of applications right now. It's a really exciting time of year as we're getting closer to, as Jacinta's talked about, closer to the deadline. We're now in May, so you have less than a month to apply to the university if you want to come in as a first-year student. So we are processing as quickly as possible, making decisions on applicants as quickly as possible. So get your application in as soon as possible. And as I always like to talk about, maybe you already did yours. You're a family here tonight just to learn about new student orientation, to learn about all their cool programs. But you have friends that you've talked to, or families that you've talked to, and their student or your friend, the student, just hasn't decided what they're doing yet about college. They're on the fence. If they want to come to KSU, they need to apply. Yes. So get that application in as soon as possible. That's really my biggest piece of advice. Another piece of news from the nest isn't really news, but it's going to be a bit of my advice, and that is check your email. I've had a lot of conversations. It's only Monday. And I know, I was going to say this week, but it's only Monday.
I did that today.
I had a lot lot of conversations.
Was that yesterday? No,
Yeah, that's right. A lot of conversations just today, but even last week, for some heartbroken students that just haven't checked their email. And it's a simple thing that you need to just make into a habit in your life, incorporate it into your life, whether you do it in the morning, you do it when you get out of school, in the evening, whenever you do it, check it at lunch quickly while you're eating, whatever. But check your email, and for our accepted students here at the university, check your Kennesaw student email address. Very important. Lots of important information goes to that email address. We try to get it out to you in other ways too. We know email may not always be the most, in-your-face thing. So we send text messages from the university, but we can't do a whole lot of that. It's primarily email. We have banners hanging up on our parking decks. We have stuff out on 75 on a digital billboard. We try everything we can do to get the word out about stuff. But at the end of the day, it absolutely goes to your email. So please check your email. And if you don't attend KSU, check your email wherever you're going in the future as well. Just check your email. That's my advice. Okay, tonight we're talking about new student programs and some of the programs that fall within their purview. Really exciting. But how do you get to this point where you get to participate in these programs? You have to be admitted to the university, and then you actually have to commit to KSU. So we're going to tell you how you commit to the institution, because we don't have an enrollment deposit here at KSU. We didn't want that to be a barrier to students. So we're going to talk tonight about how you actually commit to the university and tell KSU, hey, I'm coming. And one of the ways that you can go ahead and get the taste for KSU is to come to Action at the Fraction. This is an accepted student movie night, Action at the Fraction. It's just a lot of fun. It's not going to be a big hubbub. It's not something that's formal. It's just come and hang out with us here at KSU. Get to experience the Owl Nation, what it's going to be like for you as a future Owl, and get to come and hang out in Fifth Third Bank Stadium. So that's why we call it Action at the Fraction. Students call it the bank, which is really cool. So it's not really a bank. I guess it would be cool if it were, but it's a football, lacrosse, soccer stadium. It's our big all-purpose outdoor stadium, and
you make the front of it a bank, like
I think that
like
I
you
mean,
have to have a code to get into.
right? Like,
football
oh no, I
game.
forgot my pin.
Yeah. That would be great.
It was ideas, Jacinta, and you can share them with people.
Yes.
And
They'll be like, "No,
they
thank
they
you."
want to hear those ideas. Those are good ideas, Jacinta. I like it. I think the front should you could have like a restaurant or something called the
Yeah.
Vault. You
It's
know.
almost like
Yeah.
a hidden door, and you like knock on it, and
Ooh.
then football
Yeah.
ensues.
Oh wow.
It's great.
That's really cool. A hidden door.
Trademark.
I love it. So anyways, it's not there yet. It doesn't quite look like a bank, but it does kind of look like a nest. So it does have some roof lines that look kind of like a nest, which is cool. So join us this Friday night. You can still sign up. There are still tickets available. It's going to be really exciting, though. We're going to watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So a coming-of-age film. If you've never seen it, now's a great time to do it in a big open stadium on a big screen with a great sound system and eating some yummy stadium food. If you have seen it before, come see it again because it's absolutely worth seeing. Bring your friends. You get up to 2 guests with you as the accepted student. So the accepted student, you get also 2 guest tickets. Bring them with you. There you go. Come on that night. Friday night starts at 8 p.m. The doors open at 7. Movie starts at 8. So get there early, get a good seat. We're going to have special seating for you in the stadium. And we're going to drop the link in the chat for Action at the Fraction. So if you've not signed up yet, or maybe you're a parent out there and you've never even heard of this, your student's not sharing stuff with you, we're going to drop Action at the Fraction here. And along with all these other programs we're going to talk about tonight, and share these all with your student. I always like to think about, there's a mom on here watching this whole thing, making notes of all the things that she has to talk to her student about when he or she gets home, like from working out or working or whatever. I don't know, driving around, lacrosse, TikToking around town. Yeah. Where'd you TikTok today, son?
Right.
Oh, Mom, I can't wait to show you.
Yeah.
So all over the place. But that's what tonight's going to be chocked full of special information. So that helps me transition right to Alex, her whole shop, new student programs, really cool. And we're going to talk a little bit about new student orientation, but also we're going to talk really especially about Freshman First Flight and Owl Expedition. So if you have questions, if you want to know more from new student programs, please drop your questions in the chat. We've got Emily here tonight. She's a guru behind the computer, and she's going to throw out these questions to us so we can answer them for you live. That's part of what makes this fun. We are truly live, no delay. So
no pressure.
Scary. Yeah, no pressure. Right. Drop your questions in the chat, and we can get going. To help people, Alex, why don't you give us some intros about what is Freshman First Flight, just a big overview, and then what is Owl Expedition as well?
Yeah, so First Flight, we have rebranded. We heard you last year. Some of you told us that you were not a freshman because you have taken dual enrolled credits, and that's awesome. I heard you, so now it is just First Flight. It is for our first year students. Understand? First time coming to college. It is for fall semester students. Both of these programs are for our fall admitted students. So if you are coming in for summer, unfortunately, these programs are not for you. We have lots of fun stuff going on during the summer, though. We already should have hung out with you during orientation. Hopefully you had fun, and there's lots of things to happen those May, June, July months. So if you are coming in for fall, you can apply for First Flight. So that's a 10-day extended orientation experience just for our first-year students. And it is held on the Marietta campus, but you can actually be on either campus. So if you are a biology major, which is housed on the Kennesaw campus, you can still participate in First Flight. We just live on the Marietta campus. It's really cool. It's a smaller campus, so we're able to really live together in a residence hall. You get to eat in the dining hall, get a glimpse of what college life is. And you're also taking a class, an econ course. It's Econ 1000, which is part of your general ed requirement. So you're getting 2 credits out of the way before you start the fall semester. So what's cool about that is the econ class is actually part of the fall semester. So even though you're taking it a little bit early, it is billed with all of your fall classes. So you're able to get those 2 credits out of the way, focus on other classes once you get here on August 15th for your first day of other fall classes. So that is kind of First Flight. It's a really great glimpse about campus, what it's like. We do everything that you would experience on campus traditionally, just in a condensed format. So we do social events, we do some team building stuff, we do just hangouts in your residence hall. It is a residential program, so we'll go through that, and then we have some questions about it. Trying to think of other questions about First Flight. Yeah, Owl Expedition is a bit different. It really is kind of like a welcome weekend. So First Flight is 10 days. It is a residential program only for first-year students. Owl Expedition happens August 12th through the 14th. So if you are a residential student, you would have already moved in or are finishing up moving in at that point. You can also be a commuter student and attend First Flight, and it is open to both first years and transfer students. So it's really open to all of our new students, and it's a great opportunity to meet new people, get to know campus better, and we're having it on both campuses in tandem. So we're having Kennesaw programming at the same time that Marietta programming is happening. Honestly, I recommend this for either of these programs for students who are worried about getting connected. Maybe they went to orientation, met a couple people, they're sort of trying to get to know campus more. Maybe not everyone from your high school's going to college with you, you're kind of nervous about meeting people. Check these 2 programs out. It's a great way to get involved and kind of connected right out of the gate.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah,
well said.
That's really good. Can you talk a little bit about, I know you mentioned it, why First Flight is only on Marietta and not Kennesaw? Because I know we have students who are like, but I'm a Kennesaw major. How?
Absolutely.
Like, why do I have to be at Marietta?
So part of it is our space. So we wanted to design a program that our residence hall was really close to things. The Marietta campus is a tight community. Also just knowing that on the Kennesaw campus during the summer, there's lots of stuff happening. So there's summer students. We have some of our camps and conferences on that campus during the summer. So Marietta campus, you guys really are one of those few groups that would be there. So we get to focus a lot more on those students while you're at First Flight. And I know it might seem weird to come to the Marietta campus if you're taking most of your classes on Kennesaw or even living on Kennesaw campus. I promise a lot of the stuff that we do on Marietta campus, it really does translate the other way. So if there is a big social event on the Kennesaw campus, things like homecoming events, student activities, all of that is happening on both campuses. And as a student, you get to go back and forth. You could even take classes on both campuses if you choose to. So we just thought it was a better, good kind of with space. And with, I think we're having a few hundred people come is our limit. So we make sure that everyone feels connected and tight-knit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And is there there a limit of how many students can sign up for First Flight? Like, is there a cap on it?
Yeah. So we actually have, this is probably one of our questions, but we do have a scholarship offered for First Flight. We've gotten some questions about that today. So the application actually opened yesterday. So we're kind of catching up on email. If you've applied, you had questions, hopefully we got to that today. If not, please reach out to us. But the first 400 students who apply to First Flight receive a $300 scholarship. That will be automatically applied to your student account. So First Flight is $1,300. It takes $300 off. So you're getting the experience for $1,000. Yeah,
wow.
So it's a great, and then Owl Expedition, I forgot to mention, is $75. So if you're looking for, maybe you haven't taken class yet, maybe you're doing something in August, you can't make it to First Flight, you can always check out Owl Expedition, which is a little bit more cost effective as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good. Emily's let us know we already have some questions,
Right.
so let's
All
take
right.
some questions.
Yeah.
We've got quite a few stuff. We've got some comments too, just people saying hello.
Lovely.
Hi.
Lovely.
Cassandra
Hello.
says that she says hi, and then she says that is definitely her about taking notes
Yes.
while her
Yes.
daughter's at work. So
Do
that
it,
is-
Cassandra.
Yes.
You live your best life. You don't let your student tell you otherwise.
Awesome.
I will
Make
ask
all those
if you
awesome
are
notes.
if you are filling out your student's First Flight application, please put the student's name.
Yes.
Otherwise, I will try to give you a room, which is comfortable during check-in. Yes.
yeah.
Oops.
Change the
yes.
auto-populate.
Just
That
change
was-
the.
That was one of my emails this past
Yes.
week. Was I don't know how the date of birth was listed as 1974. I was like, I know how.
It happened last year. So
What year were you born?
male student walks up, and I'm like, "You are not Susan," and he's like, "No, that's my mom," and I'm like, "That's
Well, good to know.
because you put your name." And then mom looked totally embarrassed. So it's okay. We
Love
learned.
it.
Now
That Google autofill.
now
will
we
get ya.
triple check and match. So we learned that last year.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Okay,
Awesome.
okay.
Sorry.
So we've got some more parents just saying hello. And then
Love
Heather asks, which our new student programs in the chat has already answered, but I'll go ahead and
Great.
ask and tell you what they said.
Love it.
Do we need to do pre-orientation? And then New Student Program says that we strongly suggest it
Yeah, yeah.
because the pre-orientation modules have videos and things that pertain to important information. So.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
You do have to go to, or at least have signed up for a session to be accepted into both of these programs. So the OWL Expedition sign up is actually in the sign up process. When you sign up for a session, it automatically gives you a little tab. If you don't want to participate, we understand. You can just keep it moving. But for First Flight, there's a separate application. It's on the website. And you check to make sure that you have signed up for an orientation session. I know you mentioned that we don't have an enrollment deposit. Or attending orientation and signing up is one of those ways that we know that you are coming to KSU. We want to make sure that you get all that information. Other things kind of happen on those days. You hear from lots of campus resources. You get to know our awesome student leaders. And you register for your classes at orientation. So if you haven't signed up for an orientation session, please do that. It's just orientation.kennesaw.edu, and then just click the sign up page.
That's before we ask another question, that's one of the things that I like to tell students and remind students, or I guess tell them for the first time, that when you come to college, you are the one that's actually registering for your classes. That I have found over the years that's sometimes a shock
Yeah,
to
and
them.
it can be scary because they might not have had the control over their schedule, and if they did have control, I remember in high school I had like the choice between foreign language, which there were only like 2 offered, so it can be daunting when you see this big course catalog. But during orientation sessions, we do have amazing advisors here at KSU who are excited to meet with you, talk about your course of study. If you have not declared, that is okay. Our OWL advising team is awesome. They kind of walk through what different things look like, so we will take care of you for sure.
Nice.
And that is a good segue because the next
Great.
question, Miracle has 3 questions.
Yeah.
And the first one is, when and where do we register for classes? So.
Yeah, so during your orientation session, you will receive, it's called a time ticket. So you might have heard that language if you have a friend or an older sibling who goes to KSU. You can view your time ticket in OWL Express. Right now, if you have not signed up for a session or we're not close to your session, it looks like your time ticket is set for August. Please do not panic. It will change within 24 hours before your session. And if you show up and for some reason you didn't get one, we will turn it on for you so you can register for your classes.
And then Miracle also asked, where do we make our meal plan and when do we get parking permits?
Yeah, so parking permits happen in the middle of the summer. You also have to be signed up for classes before the system will allow you to select. I believe the deadline is July 1st. Tiffany might be watching like, that's not right. But it is in July and it is later in the summer. So sometimes, especially if you have already attended a session, so we had a couple April sessions for our fall students. So you might have already attended, which is awesome. That parking permit will turn on. Checking your email is essential because whenever the portal is open, things like that start happening, you will get an email notification that everything's open for you. And then the other one that I missed, it was parking and
Meal plan.
meal plan. So you can check out, Talon One is really the kind of one-stop shop for all of this stuff. So they do everything from parking, dining, housing, all that good stuff. Our markets and any of our restaurants on campus, which we have awesome ones, and we have even more for fall. I'm so excited. We're getting new ones. They will help you out with that. You can look at the kind of meal plan information and how to sign up. We get lots of questions about, do I have to have a meal plan? What type is right for me? Check out the website. It has lots of good information about the different types. Even if you're a commuter student, I would check it out because you never know when you want to grab like some Starbucks on campus.
One of the things I'm excited about with some change in dining is the ensuing battle between Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes.
I think it's going to be fun.
Have you seen the smoothie robot yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's
John
my
the
favorite.
Juice?
Yes.
Love it.
It's on the
Yeah.
Marietta campus, and we all took a trip in my office to go and visit Mr. Sweet's
That's nice.
smoothie robot. It
That's
was,
nice.
yeah, it was delightful.
Sure.
So check it out.
Okay.
Yeah,
We've got
I
lots
feel
of cool
bad
stuff.
now that we didn't all take a trip.
It was on an orientation
go
day, and I'm
see
like,
the-
you know what? End of the day, let's go watch the robot make
Nice.
drinks.
Okay, good.
I know.
Feed the robot.
Well, I'm like, when's her break? And then she's off on weekends, and I want to know more information about that. Like,
Yeah. Why?
what's her schedule?
How?
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
yeah.
Alrighty, so and we've got new student programs and campus services in the chat,
Cool.
helping answer questions. So shout out
Incredible.
to all of them. And then we had 2 questions about First Flight being on Marietta campus. So they're just confirming First Flight is on Marietta.
Correct. So even if you are a Kennesaw campus student, you can still participate.
Perfect.
You know, one of the things I loved about last year was you've got Hornet Village right there that is a stone's throw from Stingers, and also from the de facto quad that is on the Marietta campus. And you had a concert out that very first night, which was really cool, right there outside of the residence halls. And it's just such a tight-knit area of the Marietta campus. It's a good thing to know, even if you're going to be a Kennesaw student, to know that spot, because you're going to hang out on that spot when you go down to the Marietta campus.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, somebody asks, when you attend OWL Expedition, will you be in your actual room for the semester?
Yes, so you will go through the move-in process. You will work with housing. Once the move-in selection time, you'll actually get to go pick. Depending on when you applied and all that good stuff, you'll get notifications about when you will move in, what day you want to move in. But we planned OWL Expedition to start kind of midday on the last day of move-in, so August 12th. So we wanted to make sure that everyone's sort of in before you start the process. So you are in your room with your roommates. If you know your roommates and you want to attend together, go ahead and sign up together. I will say for OWL Expedition, we have more signups for that than we do for First Flight. So if you're looking at OWL Expedition, don't want to sound like a QVC host, but like it's going fast. So might want to get on it with your roommates.
It's helpful. Cassandra made that note. She's found that very helpful.
Yeah.
Can you confirm, is it Cassandra or Cassandra?
I don't know. Cassandra, let us know in the chat.
Tell us in the chat.
Okay, Harold asks, will we know about HOPE grant or financial aid prior to orientation and registering for classes if we applied for financial aid?
So one of my favorite things about our financial aid office is that you have an assigned financial aid counselor, and it's by your last name. So if you go to the financial aid website, you can set up appointments to meet with your financial aid counselor. With aid, I like to give everyone just sort of general advice, which is to talk to your counselor. Because even if you're a Georgia resident and you have what looks like one thing, if you have a different scholarship or you're getting some kind of aid, tax year stuff, just consult them. Typically, you do need to have a schedule for the aid to be like applied. Sometimes that kind of freaks students out. We get questions about like, why is my aid not shown up? You got to have classes. And then there are also deadlines for all of that good stuff. Things are applied as kind of on a rolling basis. So reach out to them is what I
Right. Just, I do want to say from a financial aid standpoint, particularly HOPE, the HOPE Scholarship, Zell Miller Scholarship here in the state, just so everybody knows, when a student graduates from a Georgia high school, that high school then sends the graduated transcript, so it shows all courses completed with grades, to Georgia Student Finance. They have to go through a process of qualifying the student. If you're Zell Miller, they also have to look at SAT, ACT scores. And so that takes a little time. So just keep that in mind. If you have a May 27th orientation, no, HOPE's not going to be qualified by then. But if you have a later orientation, then yes, most likely. So.
And the Georgia Futures website is awesome. You can log in, check your aid, check where you're at. Are you pending? Typically, if you can see it there, that means that our financial office can also see it.
Yep. Good point.
Yeah.
Alrighty, from YouTube, Gary asks, I have a question about the virtual new student orientation. I've signed up for the virtual option, and I'm not sure how this will work when I register for my classes. So can you explain the process of being online and registering?
Sure. So we have different modality options for students. We kind of learned in the pandemic that not everyone wants to come to campus, or you may have hung out with these people before and you went to an open house, you took a tour, you feel like you sort of have seen campus. Maybe you're working, you just kind of want that flexibility. Maybe you are abroad or something this summer, going on a trip, want to get those early sessions in, but not from Kennesaw, totally fine. So you will participate on Zoom from you log in around 8:30, session starts around 9 a.m., and then we run the session all the way until noon. You hear from your advising groups. You're actually put into breakout groups with your advising team, so you hear the same thing that students that are coming for in-person sessions. We really did try to recreate it and make it as similar to the experience as possible. It is kind of condensed because looking at a screen for that long can make you a little nutty, as we've learned. But you will meet with your advising team. You'll learn all about the campus resources, so everything from campus services, so that parking, housing, dining, all that good stuff is talked about. We talk about student activities, how to get involved on campus. It's just happening in a virtual format. And then the actual registering of classes, your time ticket, if you're a virtual student, will open at 1 p.m. And all of our advising teams have different ways of communicating with you if you need help. So we have a full resource page. You can reach out to your advisor. If you're getting an error message, we give you a whole cheat sheet about that, how to kind of combat any error that you're seeing. If you have a question about transcripts, all of our offices are available just via Teams rather than in person.
Awesome. Oof, they need to give Alex a break.
I know.
Yeah, no,
You
sorry.
and I should probably just banter for a
Yeah,
minute.
I mean, I don't know.
Do you need some water? I have some. You can share my water over here. Yeah,
I was like, I got this.
yeah, I know.
Like, this is all in my
It's
brain
it's
somewhere.
incredible.
That's why I like shut down at night usually.
Just-
Just goes to like bad reality TV land.
okay,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. You got to zone out
Love
for
is
a
Blind
bit.
was great.
That's
Yeah,
right.
we can talk about that. Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we can talk about that offline. Yeah. Cool.
You have
What?
something, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I did have a
Yeah.
question. So one of the questions I had for you, Alex, for students who, I keep going back to this
Yeah.
about the Kennesaw campus. So once a student has completed first flight, how do they transition if they are going to be living on the Kennesaw campus?
A good question. So our summer classes actually run all the way up until very, very soon from the fall semester start. So our housing team is working very hard to make that transition as seamless as possible. That is also why, if you are attending first flight, moving in early, not always an option. So we are recommending that you make plans to either just bring, first flight is 10 days, so think about what you would need for 10 days. We supply some stuff, so in your room, you'll get like a shower curtain, a trash can, kind of the basics of the room. But you will bring, kind of like you're going to camp, you'll bring your sheets and your clothes and your study materials, your laptop, all that good stuff. And then you will scoot home for like a few days, depends on when you pick your move-in time. And then you will move into your residence hall. Most of that is because we want to make sure that your residential experience is really awesome. And I will shout out to our campus services team and our residence life team. They do an amazing job at move-in. And there is no kind of energy like the first kind of move-in day on campuses.
Yeah.
They've got, like last year they had like a selfie bus where you could, like in your tie-dye shirt, like take a picture with this background set. They had music playing and there's volunteers there to help you. So if you move in kind of an early move-in date, if you're in the band or you're going through other programs that allow that, can be fun, but there is nothing like traditional move-in. We want to make sure that you're getting that big kind of first year experience. Also with your roommate, I used to work in housing. It is kind of uncomfy when you move in at different times and you've been there for like 2 weeks and you've already like claimed your space. So we want to make sure that everyone's moving in at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Good point. So talking about, it's so hard for me to not say the other F in the freshman first flight.
Oh.
It's first flight. I know,
Yeah.
I know. As you heard me say it a million times already.
We got like feedback, I'm not a freshman. Like, okay, is it your first time coming to school?
Sure
Yes.
you are. That's
They're
right.
working on their PhD, which I think is awesome. I did not do that.
yes.
Not take advantage of the choices I was offered. So, yes.
So first flight. What are some of the you talked about social events. What are some of the fun, social things that are happening during first flight that you can talk about, that you can share?
So one big thing is an excursion trip. So Kennesaw State is very close to downtown Atlanta, and there's lots of cool stuff happening in Atlanta. We have trips set up with the Georgia Aquarium, Chick-fil-A Football Hall of Fame. I believe we have the Center for Civil and Human Rights. We're working on getting the High Museum as an option. So basically, if you can dream it in Atlanta, you get to tell us your preference. So when you apply, you will get to rank which one you want first. We are going to do our very best to give you your first choice. Our goal is to really give everyone at least their first or second choice. But if everyone wants to go to the aquarium, obviously they cannot accommodate that massive of a group. We will make it work. All of those attractions are awesome. And that is included in the price of the $1,300 with the $300 scholarship if you're one of the first 400 students to apply. We also are kind of showcasing what college is like and what KSU is like. So we are working with our Marietta Activities Council, MAC? Marietta Activities Council. Like I had to do the acronym. So there is CAB on the Kennesaw campus, and then there's MAC on the Marietta campus. And that is usually comprised of our students who volunteer or apply to be part of these programming boards. They work with our student affairs staff to put on really awesome events. They do everything from events on the green to like festivals. They do comedy shows. So you will get a glimpse of that. And we also are doing some small group work. So if you are part of a certain club on campus, we'll have some of those depending on what you're interested in. There should be something for everybody.
Nice.
Yeah.
So application opened on
Yesterday.
May
May
1st.
Yes.
When does it close? When do students have to do
Good
it?
question. So on July 1st is when we have to know about first flight. That is also the cancellation deadline. So if you apply for first flight and then you say, got an awesome opportunity, going on a trip or something fun, which I hope that happens for you, honestly. No worries, you can cancel without any penalty as long as you cancel by July 1st. With kind of on the billing train, everything is billed along with your fall semester fees, so you actually won't pay for first flight until that fall deadline, which I believe is in mid-August, end of August. It's on the academic calendar. And then for OWL Expedition, you have to cancel by August 1st to get a full refund. Yeah. Awesome.
Great.
So July 1st, August 1st.
Sure. Okay, we've got a question.
Cool.
Alrighty, so Kimberly, her family's moving from Maryland
Cool.
with their son.
Sweet.
And asks, there's lots of info for Georgia State students, high school graduates. Is there anything particular for students coming in from out of state that they need to do?
So if you are coming from very, very far away, so you live in Maryland, you live in Colorado, you live in San Francisco, we will work with our Residence Life team. They have been extremely generous to help us with, like, particularly our out-of-state students or students who are having kind of an extenuating circumstance. If you want to come to First Flight and just transition into your residence hall, if you are out of state coming a big distance, we will work with them on that. So once you apply, just let us know. We also will find that out when you apply, you tell us your hometown. We will notice that you are not in Georgia or like not even in the Southeast, and we will contact you to chat about what that looks like.
Nice.
And a virtual option is probably a good idea for you for orientation. If you want to make it a whole trip and come down and see the campus, you can also do that. But if you want to save some money and just get that flight once, you can also just pick a virtual session.
And they're moving to Georgia in 6 weeks.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, great.
So you'll be here. Great. Wonderful.
We'll see you then.
Yes. Even better.
Okay.
I love when
Very
people do
good.
that. Like, I wonder if I went out of state if my parents would follow me. I feel like no.
Ooh.
My mom is like in Atlanta.
Die
hard. Yes. Jakes.
Oh,
You owe me a Coke.
I got a Coke for you in the back. We are a Coca-Cola school,
Like we
by
went
the
to
way.
all of the Olympics
Yeah.
when it was happening.
Yeah. We went to softball because that was a sport back then. We went to volleyball.
I saw a Thrasher shirt the other day, and I was like, those
Yeah.
were so fun. Yes.
Yeah, Thrashers
We used to
were
have hockey.
cool. That was a great event. I'm
was.
not even a hockey fan.
I was not either, but it was.
That was the best sporting
Yeah.
event.
It's great.
Tier.
Yeah.
It went back to Canada.
know.
The whole franchise
did.
moved to Canada.
Make another team. It's fine.
Which I always have so many questions about how that happens.
Yeah.
Sell it to Canada. Okay. Normal.
I do believe that our friend Cassandra has confirmed that it's sand.
Cassandra.
Cassandra,
Awesome.
not Cassandra.
Cassandra.
Cassandra. Got it.
Awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, let's talk a little bit about OWL Expedition.
Yes.
Yes.
What are some of the things that students can expect to do in OWL Expedition, or maybe I should say experience?
So lots of fun on campus. So we are not doing the excursion trip because that is for First Flight, but we will have perhaps some fun evening events, perhaps like a magician / hypnotist situation happening. We're going to talk about community service and civic engagement. That is very important to us at KSU. Serving our community and giving back. We will do all those cool things. We are doing a, we call it the color war because we put you into teams and your team has a color that you're representing. And it's like this whole kind of sporting thing that happens out on the green, or if you're on the Marietta campus in the K field, which is right outside of Hornet Village. So different activities that you can experience. Also, we're doing some tours. You can bring your schedule. We can walk you around campus. And really, we're just hoping that you get to know campus and get to know each other, make those connections with some friends so that when you're walking around those first weeks of class, you already kind of know people, whether that's our student leaders or someone that you meet, just kind of getting you connected. And it'll go really quick. It ends with first year convocation. So that is Sunday. Whether you are attending either of these events or not, it is really an awesome opportunity to get to know campus. You'll hear from all of our campus leadership, so everyone from the president, some faculty will be there. You get to hear from some, I know we're trying to get an alumni this year to talk about the cool things you can do as a KSU OWL alum. And then talk about a good time. Like, a lot of things happen after on the campus green, from really good food, some games and fun stuff. Another great way to get connected to campus and get to know people. So that's Sunday night. I believe it's at 5. That's when Convocation is.
Last year, Convocation was huge.
Yeah, massive.
It was the largest one we've ever had. it was incredible.
Yes.
So we need to beat it
Yeah.
this year.
No pressure.
So come, it's a lot of fun and really gets you, orientation gets you transitioning to the university, these special programs, First Flight and Owl Expedition, even do more transition, more engagement opportunities. And then Convocation is like,
The start.
it kicks it off and says, guess what? You have class tomorrow.
Yeah, if you think about kind of your experience as bookends, Convocation starts you, commencement is where you end. So
Bingo.
the level of excitement is the same. And it is on the Kennesaw campus. We get questions about that. So why is Convocation only on the Kennesaw campus? We will bus everybody from the Marietta campus to make sure that you guys are participating. It's just where the Convocation Center is the answer to that. Yeah,
Which, if you don't know what that is, for us, it's a basketball arena
Yes.
/ volleyball arena.
it's just a big open meeting space.
Yeah.
For you to come.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know you said QVC boys.
Yeah.
Things are going fast.
Going fast.
So how many students can actually sign up for Owl Expedition? What is the limit?
So we have, I think we are doing 100 students on the Marietta campus. We are doing 200 students on the Kennesaw campus. So we have a little bit more space. We are also, reasons for that, we are competing with some space. So if you are participating in things like sorority recruitment, that is happening around the same time. We try to plan it so you can do both. Just make sure that you get your schedule. You can always cancel by August 1st. I would grab your spot at Owl Expedition and then cancel if you need to. And then other stuff is happening on like the Marietta campus, just move-in, fun things. All of our residence halls in the evenings during move-in, we'll do some fun stuff. They do like casino nights, different events outside to get to know your other residents and other people. So you can attend those and then kind of slide right into Owl Expedition. Yeah,
All right. Well, seats going fast.
seats going fast.
743.
I think we had 75 signed up total. So out of 300, that's like, I mean,
It's a lot.
it's getting there. Yeah.
I like it.
We good on questions?
I'm making sure that we're caught up.
Okay.
Kathleen had asked, can a student do both First Flight and Owl Expedition? It looks like
Yeah.
new student programs answered yes, but you can elaborate that if you'd want to.
Love it.
Yeah, so you can sign up for both, up to you. We are trying our best to make sure that the programming does not repeat. So if you do one thing at First Flight, we're trying to do a little bit different during Owl Expedition. But same kind of concept. Our student leaders are the same. So we have awesome extended orientation leaders, ELs is what we call them, in our office. And they are trained to help you in your transition. So you will see them during First Flight. You will also see them during Owl Expedition. Yeah,
And it looks like we're caught up on questions.
great.
Awesome. Alex, we talked just briefly about the about First Flight and paying for First
Yes.
Flight. Would you talk a little bit about is financial aid available for students participating in First Flight, and if so, how does that work out?
Yeah, so it is available. Some types of aids are or is available for students. I would recommend that you talk to your counselor. Depends on your aid, but our class is billed, and we can kind of talk about some frequently asked questions about that. So good segue. So when you apply to First Flight and you are added into the class, that is really one of the first things that happens in our application process. Our registrar's team makes sure that you are accepted to KSU, that you are coming for our fall semester, and that you don't have any prior credit for econ. Last year we got some questions about folks who were, they already had econ credit from somewhere, but they wanted to do First Flight. We do not recommend that you do classes multiple times, so you will still be able to hang out with us, sign up for Owl Expedition instead. But making sure that you do not have credit, once that's checked, the class will be added to your schedule. What that does is triggers kind of the rest of your financial aid and your billing cycle. So our fall semester does carry fall fees. I believe that is out soon, the kind of rundown for what it will look like for fall 22. Do you know if the USG's got it out yet?
You'll hear about it midsummer, but it's already been, at least from a tuition standpoint, we've already been promised tuition isn't going to increase.
Yes,
so
so
that's fantastic.
Look at last year. I know that can be confusing as a new student. Like, why is there not a fall 22?
Mm-hmm.
We are a USG school, so we're waiting on the kind of final numbers. But you can go to our KSU website, just type in fees, look at fall 2021, and that will give you kind of an idea of what you can expect for 22. So First Flight does carry fall fees. So when you are accepted into the program, we will add you to that econ course. And then the fees will be added to your bill as well. So I know some students panic and they see that big bill kind of shoot up. As long as you are taking a full load of classes, like you probably intend to for fall, so you are intending to come here as a full-time student, those fees would have been applied anyways. So once you come to orientation, you have all of those courses added to your schedule, it will look kind of more normal. But sometimes seeing just the econ class plus the fees can be a little bit jarring on your account. And depending on your situation with your financial aid, that can be eligible. And our financial aid team is aware that First Flight is happening. They're trying to move through that to get that $300 scholarship applied, all that good stuff. If it's not happening, I promise before the start of class, it will happen. It just takes a minute sometimes for us to process it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There's one thing you brought up, and it's not necessarily tied to any of this, but you said fees, and so I do want to address it as well. Very excited for all of our students in the university system of Georgia that the USG decided to remove the special institutional fees.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, your block of fees made up of lots of different things: student activity fee, health fee, athletic fee, all sorts of things, right? One of those fees across the university system of Georgia, every institution had it, was a special institutional fee. And here at KSU, that was $300 a semester. That's now gone. So our students are saving tons of money. Did you not know that? There you go.
students are excited.
Emily's face
yeah, we're
is
jealous.
just
Very
like,
excited.
what?
Yes,
Yeah.
you're saving at least $600 a year. So there you
Love
go,
it.
Emily.
Love this
But very exciting news that came out because the budget in the state of Georgia is so strong, and that in our current political environment, the university system of Georgia has been funded very well and told to remove that special institutional fee. So very exciting time in Georgia heading into this next academic year. There will be no special institutional fee. So saves families, saves students a lot of money, including Emily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more question. When participating in OWL Expedition, will students have time or opportunity to still participate in like dorm activities? Mentioned a few minutes ago. They saw a tentative schedule and that mentioned social activities. So just wanted to make sure that they did not miss out on anything that first weekend they're there.
Yeah, so we are working with our residence life team to hopefully collaborate on that. So if there's a casino night happening and we are on the Kennesaw campus, for example, then if you are a Kennesaw resident, we will hopefully have some of our ELs go to that event and kind of help you connect to that event. So we are kind of plugging that in, that existing programming. We're hoping to sort of fold that into our schedule. And it really is, some of that programming is optional. So let's say you start our Friday session, you get to know people. After you have dinner, you want to go grab ice cream with a couple of your friends. That is fine. We get questions about what is mandatory. So for First Flight, what is mandatory? What we want you / you need to go to is class. That is a general pro tip. If you want to succeed in college, go to class, please. Because we're on an accelerated timeline, especially in a 10-day course, you want to make sure that you are attending as much as possible. Of course, things happen. Our faculty are aware of that. If there's like a medical thing or something pops up, they will work with you on that. But for OWL Expedition, it really is an optional program. We want you to engage in as much as possible. But if you and your roommates really hit it off, you want to go to a dinner. If somebody moved in on a Friday and you're all doing a roommate dinner, please don't ignore OWL Expedition for that. Go to your dinner and then you can catch up with us on Saturday. Yeah.
That's nice.
I want it to be a little more free-flowing, get to know campus. Whenever we do a really rigorous schedule, people tend to, like, that sounds a little lame. Like, I understand. It's like when you go to a conference and you can't leave the entire time. Yeah. Just want to go see the city, want to see the campus. I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Great.
Alex, how does somebody like yourself come to work in new student programs? I think everybody would like to know.
So I was in college. Perhaps classes were not always my strong point, but I had a lot of stuff outside of class, and I had a lot of engagement in all things like Greek life. I was an RA in college. I bounced around, not that I was a bad student, I just couldn't make up my mind about what I wanted to do, so I ended up having 4 majors at one point, which, careful, on your graduation timeline on that, and your aid got a little dicey. But we made it, it's fine. Totally fine.
That's right.
Yeah, so I got into lots of co-curricular stuff and really enjoyed, I didn't know that higher ed was a job before I came to college. I didn't know that you could hang out with young people and help them navigate what this looks like. So when I was graduating from college, I had an opportunity at a small school. I worked in residence life, kind of got into the student affairs, different activities on campuses, and then it just sort of snowballed from there. I really enjoy working with young people. And that sounds a little weird, but just when you're a young adult and you're just graduating from high school, or maybe you're a transfer student, you've kind of bounced around to a couple schools, so you're still trying to figure it out. You really are in this very cool part of life where you get to make all these decisions that are then going to determine what happens. That could be very scary. But I just want to help all of our students in that transition. It can be daunting, but everything from like, how do my financial aid packages work? How do I get the right classes? How do I make sure that I'm getting help when I need it? I like kind of helping in that transition to make it a little bit easier for like regular life.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
I
think it's great for everybody out there, particularly Cassandra, to know, your background.
Yeah. I know. And so I'm a trained social worker, but I use it with college students. So I try to help them navigate. I mean, just lots of, especially the last few years, it's been a lot. So you're transitioning into college. Like this year might have looked kind of normal as your senior year. I'm hoping that proms, I've seen them around. Whenever I see someone actually going to prom, I'm like, look at you, you're like back to, because for a minute, like you couldn't.
Almost like they came back from war or
yeah,
something.
like,
You're like, oh.
It was just like a yard sign, which was great, and we made the best of it and did the car parades, and those were great for those people, but I'm glad that we're kind of back into that traditional set. But these last few years, I mean, I cannot imagine doing high school virtually. Like that sounds painful. So props to everyone watching, because it's that transition's tricky.
Yeah, we are all collectively happy to be back to some normalcy.
Yeah.
Jacinta, you got any other questions?
I had one more question. I know we're going to focus on econ with First Flight, but can students take more than one class along with that econ? Like if they're just, looking to...
During First Flight?
During First Flight, yeah.
Just econ.
Just econ. Okay.
Yep.
Just one.
So just one, I feel like...
Just wanted to make sure.
So the way that kind of credits work is you have to have a certain amount of seat time, which means that you're in class for a certain amount of time. And then you also have to have a certain amount of out of class time. And having a 10-day squished in course really is stretching that. So it is, I will speak to kind of the rigor of it. A lot of our students have really enjoyed it. Even if you're not like a business major and you're thinking, why econ? Our faculty members are awesome. They do a great job making the material interesting and kind of learning about it. But I will say it is class. So you'll be in class most of the morning, and then the fun things and studying will happen in the afternoon and in the evening.
Econ's great. Econ helps you kind of understand what's going on in the world.
Yes.
I was a business major, so I had to do a lot of econ, so I fully understand why it's important.
And I was not a business major, so I'm like, I understand why you're thinking econ.
Why?
Interesting. So
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
And it's part of your gen ed, so you're getting 2 credits that apply towards graduation.
Yeah, I love that. I love it as a jump start to fall.
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to transition to the institution. So be sure that you really think about this, that you talk about it as a family. You decide, do you want to do First Flight? Do you want to do First Flight and Owl Expedition?
Yep.
Double up.
Do both.
Do both. Just do Owl Expedition, your choice. But now is a great time. We've had a great Ask Admissions Live with our wonderful Alex from New Student Programs. And hopefully tonight you really learned about these programs in an in-depth way to decide, is this the right thing for me or for my student, if you're Cassandra. So I love, anyways. We have, what was that mom from like 2 years ago that was on every one of these?
I want to call her Angela, but I know that's not
I think it was an Angela, yeah.
Yeah, but she was
Brenda,
wonderful.
Becky,
Maybe it was
Barbara. No, I can't remember.
It's okay,
Anyways,
but she was fantastic.
now
the
we don't
leader of the
even
parents.
need her or remember
'Cause
her.
we've
We
got
have
Cassandra.
our Cassandra now.
Yes.
You've been promoted.
Yeah, promoted. Right. Thank you, Cassandra. So please, folks, the links are there in the chat. Fill out the First Flight application. Sign up for Owl Expedition. While you're signing up for New Student Orientation, which is open, and please sign up as soon as possible. It is mandatory for you if you're coming in as a first-year student, if you're coming in as a transfer student. We need to help you transition to the institution, orient you, if you will, to the institution. Sign up for those things, and as you're signing up, do the Owl Expedition, sign up.
My QVC host, we are into June, so we are full in sessions into June. So if you have not signed up for orientation and you're like, I'll get a date, totally fine. Not an early date. You're looking at kind of mid-June. Not July
What are we
yet.
okay,
We're in
okay.
mid-June. please do not freak out about that. It'll be okay. We have
Yeah.
lots of first-year classes, but please go ahead, finish your sign-ups. Your sign-up is not completed until you pay the fee. So just remember that. If your stuff is pending, that does not mean that your date has been confirmed. And so if you have, like, May 24th is pending and you haven't signed up yet, that means that it is no longer available. It'll make you go back and pick a new date. So make sure that you go ahead and do that.
Okay,
Yes.
don't put it off anymore.
Yes, that disappoints some people. They think they have it, but you don't have it till you're paid.
While
Gotcha,
you're watching
bingo.
this,
Yes.
you can also multitask
Yes.
and sign up for orientation.
If
at
you
the
have
same
any
time.
problems with it, sometimes our sign-up system it's a Monday, they're sleepy. So just email us, ksuorientation@kennesaw.edu with any issues or errors. Happens
By the
sometimes.
way, somebody can fight me, but I don't believe in multitasking. I've tested it in my own life. It don't work.
What
So,
would you like to call? What would you like to call it?
I'd call it focus on the task at hand and then move
One
on to
at
the
a
next
time?
one when you're done. That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to turn down my music today to read something. So I'm like at that age,
Yes.
like your
Yeah.
30s or
Yeah, I think it really,
yeah.
if you're doing a task and then you have, whether it's
Yeah.
music or a show or something, I really, unless it's classical music
Yeah.
or something without lyrics, like you're elongating your task. You are not
used to
getting
be
that
able to do
task
it.
done. I used to be able to do it too,
Nope.
somewhat,
it goes away.
but yeah, I think it's gone. And
Yeah,
so
Disney piano classic, and it's great. If you just need to focus,
there you go.
Disney songs played in piano. It's great.
That's like my toddler life though. So anytime that I'm not listening
Oh,
to
so
like the
you're like-
Moana
okay.
soundtrack is like
so we'll do like
Is
pop
your-
hits,
Encanto
piano.
was Christmas break, winter break.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Okay.
I need some like maybe not.
I'll send you a different
You just
one.
We do
triggered
like alt
Alex.
rock
Yeah.
Yes.
in classical
I'll do.
would be
I'll,
great.
I'll find one and I'll send it to you
Yeah.
through Spotify.
Perfect.
I listen to classical reading
Okay.
on Spotify. That's my
So you don't get
go-to.
the like spooky,
Yeah, no.
the big
no.
classical.
It's very
yeah.
chill.
It
It's very-
can classical
Yeah,
can
no,
surprise
no,
you.
dun, 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 dun. No,
Yeah.
it's very chill. Okay, so you're going to sign up for First Flight, Allen Expedition, New Student Orientation, all those wonderful things. Sign up for Action at the Fraction, Accepted Student Movie Night coming up this Friday. You still got a couple more days, but tickets, my QVC voice, tickets are going fast,
Yeah.
so sign up as soon as you can. It's free for you and your guests, so come on out. Going to be a great night. And that's it. So, Alex, you know how we always end this thing. End it with us together with
hoo-dee-hoo.
allies and a hootie hoo.
Okay.
Folks, you've been wonderful.
Yes.
Hootie hoo, everybody have a great night.